I want to be a Grandmaster. Sounds crazy, right? My rating in puzzle rating is 1950. It's been ages since I played a real tournament. I have a FIDE rating around, I'm not sure, 17, 1800. So I'm over 30 years old, and it might be unrealistic, but I want to give it a try. I'm inspired by many other content creators, but I think they have one thing in common about improvement. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. You see them playing blitz games. You see them playing, yeah, like fun modes. Um, maybe maybe it is simply fun to them, but I don't think that's the best way to improve. Um, what I want to do, I want to get good. It sounds stupid, but I want to tackle the things one by one. I want to make a series and I want to make those videos to, how do you say, kind of test myself and record my progress. And in this puzzle series, I want to start with not just random puzzles. I truly believe, not only in chess but in any other sport, you have to do it one by one. You have to go through those different, in this case, you have those puzzle themes on Elite Chess. You can pick the mix, and maybe that's more like representing real games where you don't really know what's on the board. But in order to see those things, you have to know all of the different things first. And that's why I want to start with, like, down here. First of all, like checkmates, and then like all of those advanced and normal motifs, like a fork, like advanced pawns. And I'm gonna start with, like, from, not front to back, but back to front, if you say it like this. Because what's the point of playing a great game if I don't know how to checkmate people? So my goal is, I'm not sure if it's realistic to reach 2,500 points in those different categories until I move on to the next one. Or maybe we make it 2,200. I will have to check out how it works. Okay, but maybe from checkmate, it's a bit generic. We really go from mate in one. And let's say, let's simply do it. So I'm trying to comment on every move I make, trying to really hold myself accountable through those videos and see how far I come. Okay, let's go. So first, of course, mate in one, we need to like a check. And this should be queen f1. White cannot block, he can't move. Yes. Oh, you don't see if it's correct or not. So maybe let me quickly change that. All right, and we are back. Now you don't see the rating, but maybe we shouldn't focus too much on the rating. So queen f1 was correct. Let's jump to the next one. Mate in one, bishop move, and the king can't move. Yes. Okay, that's an interesting position. If we go here, the king can go here, so this one, and he can't move anywhere, right? Cannot block. Queen cannot be taken. Yes. All right. The next one. Queen b6. Then we have this. Oh, checkmate. So the next one, I mean, those are fairly easy and they only give me like a few points. So the knight can take this one. So it has to be like a knight move. Yes, knight to g1. And the king can't go anywhere. Our king is blocking this square. The rook is blocking on g2. So I like how funny and like unrealistic those positions are, but well. So if we go here, the king doesn't have this and none of those squares. So that's correct. Bum bum bum. So if we take this, then king can go to c3. If we take this, then it has to be this way. That's correct. Yeah, and it gives me +1. Oh, so this maybe I change my mind about the rating points, but we will figure it out. This we can check it out later. So this should be pretty straightforward. And the difficulty is on normal. I'm not going to change that. This f8 should be checkmate. Yes. So first move I see is this, and all of the squares are covered. That's correct. So here we can take the pawn, and this is covered by the queen. This diagonal. So now it has to be queen g7. Or both work, right? Okay, now I'm confused. This should work. This is covered, blah, blah, blah. He cannot block, but this should also work. Yeah, okay, great. Now I'm looking for the first check I see. This is pawn to g6. And this is covered, this, and he cannot take. So this should be good. This didn't give me any point, by the way. Okay. And we cannot use the queen because the queen can take, so it has to be in the rook. So yeah, feel free to beat me if you can see it's faster than me. Now, yeah, this is pretty easy. So what was the move? Queen to d... queening, okay. Queen to d8, and now we have to cover this square, so it has to be f1. Bum, bum, bum. So this is discovered check. So if we go here, double check, the king has to move, but he cannot. So yes, that's also correct. Same story. This is covered, this is covered. So we have to make sure this square is somehow covered. This can be done by the knight. Then it's a double attack, and all of the squares are covered. Yes. Okay, we can take this pawn, and we have to take it with the queen to cover f7. What was the move? The king takes. Okay, and now maybe it's a bit tricky. So this is not covered. Queen to h4 would do that. It would also give a check, and this is covered, this, and this is covered by the rook as well. So, and it cannot be blocked, right? No. So I think I'm already noticing, like, really talking about the moves help, because sometimes you see those puzzles, you see the first check, you play the move, and then it's like wrong. Maybe you guys have made the same experience. So the first check I see is king to queen to f6. So this will be covered. This, and it cannot be blocked. So that's correct. Yeah, this is pretty straightforward, I think. So here we have the rook on d8, which would cover this, and this is covered by the bishop and the knight, and we're not in check. It cannot be taken, so this has to be correct. So now we have the first check I see is this, but this can be taken by both the knight and the bishop. So the next move I see is queen to g8, but then the king can move to e7. Yeah, the next check I see would be knight to h7, and then the king cannot move to any square, and it cannot be taken. So this has to be correct. Oh, +2. Great. So king to f6. I see this move, and this diagonal will be covered by the bishop. So this is also covered by the queen, so this has to be the move. Yes. Rook takes on d8. We can take and make a queen, which is checkmate. Yes. So here we could take with the queen, but then the king has g8. If we take this pawn, then it should be checkmate. Yes. Okay, here we can. I saw the pawn, but it's not possible. We have this check, and this is covered by the bishop, and this is covered by our rook, so this should be the move. Yes. Next up, I always see those kind of rook moves, but yeah, in this case, of course, it doesn't work. The knight is being attacked. The only safe square where he cannot be taken is this one. This would be covered. This is covered by the pawn. This is covered by the knight, and this whole second rank is covered by the rook. So far, we got everything right. Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. This would only not work if there would be like a hidden check attack, whatever, on the king, but that's not the case. That's checkmate. Here we have to move the queen because we cannot give checkmate with the bishop. So first square C is on h8. This would be covered by the bishop. This and this is also covered. This is correct. So if we simply take, we have both rooks and the check cannot be blocked. It's also correct. The first check I see here is queen to f7, and this should be checkmate. Everything is covered. Okay, now those with the king in the middle are always a bit more tricky somehow. So, I see this, but the king can simply take it. I see this move, and this would also cover f3. This is covered by the pawn. The rook covers everything else. This has to be correct. So black to move, we can move this, and this is protected by the bishop. So this should be correct, yes. He took our rook, that's not too nice. Let's see. We have to cover this square, so we have to, I guess, take on d3. Then everything is covered, yes. So first check I see is queen to d5, and this I think is checkmate because we have to cover f7. Yes, that's correct. Oh, yeah, I don't get any points for those kind of, like, I mean, they're all kind of easy, but for some of them. So the knight covers those. We have to give this check, and then it should be checkmate. Yes. Oh, another tricky one in the middle. But this is covered by the rook. This is covered by the rook, so we only need a check. Oh no, we don't, because this one. Ah, we do. I thought we'd play knight to g3, but then the king can go to d5, so we have to. Because I didn't consider the g pawn is looking at f3, so this should be checkmate. Yes. So rook to g3. We can simply give this check. This would also cover f1, and the rook cannot take because of our rook, and we are protected by our bishop, so that's also correct. +1. So here we need a check. The bishop is pinned, so we can give this check. Oh, and there it is, the first wrong move. But why? Because the king can go to c1. See, this is the case where I was impatient now. And this is the correct move because this whole diagonal is covered. I was so focused on the pin that I was simply excited to play queen to d3. But this is the correct move. I guess g5 would also work. And this set me back 7 points. Aye. Alright. Okay. Okay, this is covered by the bishop, so this should be back rank checkmate. So black to move. The pawn is covered by both, so we can use this knight to give a check. And this would all be covered, and the knight is not taken by anyone. That's correct. So c3, and this should be checkmate because the king doesn't have any space. Yes. And this should also be checkmate. That's correct. And this we have to cover h3. Our pawn is covering g4. So this is checkmate, +1. Bum, bum, bum. So. Now again back rank, and g7 is covered by our knight. Yes. Okay, I don't see it because the rook can take, the queen can take, and if we go here, nah, he can only go to f8, and this is covered by our bishop. So that's checkmate. Okay, yeah, this should be easy. Simply checkmate on h2. Yes. Okay, king to f1, and this should also be easy. We don't use. Can we use the rook? Of course we can. Can we? Yes. I think we can use both, right? Yeah, of course. Okay. So this should be queen to h4 because the 7th rank is covered by our rook. Yes. King to f8. There's a check here, but yeah, we can't cover both squares if we move the bishop. If we move it to g6, the king can go to g8, so it has to be a knight move. The knight cannot be taken on e6. The bishop is protected by a rook, so that's correct. So e1, bishop e1, and we should be able to take it the rook. Yes, and we are. So here we have to block out the queen simply like this. Yes, +1. And I think this should be checkmate. The king, where does he move? Nowhere. Yeah, we can't use h1 because the bishop covers as well. So f2. So now my focus, you can, even if those are like easy ones, the focus is not as sharp as I was in the beginning, but this should be checkmate, right? The bishop covers is again back rank checkmate. So okay. This is covered by the knight, so if we do this, then the pawn can simply take our bishop. The second check I see is knight to g5, and this is not defendable. Yes. So king to e2, and if we go knight to f4, this is covered by the queen, this, everything. That's correct. And this should be easy like this. Yes. So if we give a check here, the king only has, no moves. The queen is on the d file. So here we have the check on a6. We cover c8. Our bishop is covering b8, and we protect our bishop, and we are protected by our bishop. So a lot of bishops. So if we give this check, the pawn is covering those two, the queen is covering the back rank. Yeah. are dangerous, but we checkmate by playing, I think, this rook to h6. No, then the king can go here. Okay, then it has to be the pawn, because then, yeah, every other square is looked after. I think, yeah, same thing, like the back rank checkmate, the pawn move. And what about this one? How I see this one, but then he can go to c5. So we have to cover c5 and give a check. So this would be here. Then he can't go here because of the queen. This knight is covering this, the pawn, yes. Okay. Yeah, that's straightforward again. So the first check I see is here, then this is covered by the bishop, this is covered by the pawn, and this is covered by the bishop as well, and we protect the knight. Oh, plus a 3. Okay, I think it should be this one, because then we cover this diagonal, we cover this. Yes. Okay, so this should be... This is not possible, so it has to be this one, and the king has no moves. Yeah. Okay, if we queen here, the bishop can take. If we give this check, this is covered by the bishop, this is covered by the rook. Yes, so it has to be this one. Okay, here we can simply give the check, right? Let's not rush it, but yeah. Okay, here we check also for checkmate, yes. Okay, if we go here, the rook covers this, and then this should be correct. Same story here, bishop to h6, oh no, but then we have this. If we go here, now then it has to be h8, because this is covered, the whole back rank, and this is covered by the queen. So here it has to be this, because he can take back. So it has to be this, because then the pawn cannot take back, yes. Okay, if we give this check, the king can go to c3. So that's not correct. The bishop, we have a double check. So this is also covering, our rook on e8 is also covering the e file. So we can simply take the... Can we take the bishop? If we take the bishop, this is covered, this is covered, this is covered, and this is covered. So it shouldn't matter if we go to d3. Yes, we play d3. That looks a bit nicer than taking the bishop. Okay, here we take back with the pawn. Here we cannot take like this because the king has g7. So how do we... This is the only move taking away g7. Queen to c3. It has to be correct, but let's double check. This is covered by the pawn. This whole line open file is covered by the rook. So yeah, queen to c3. So back rank does work because the knight is pinned by the rook and the king doesn't have any other moves. Okay, we're at 1969. So I want to get at least get to 2000 in this one, in the overall rating. Okay, if we go here, those are covered and those are covered by the pawn and this is covered by the queen. Yeah, it has to be this one. +2, we need 2 more points. Okay, let's not rush it, let's not rush it. If we go to f4, then there is e5, so we have to cover e5. This is done by the rook to e3, and all the squares are covered. Okay, 0 points for this one. Okay, back rank checkmate. If we go here, we are protected by our knight. This is also done. This cannot be taken. +1. Nice. Okay, if we give the checkmate here, no move, and this is protected by the rook. No point for this one. Okay. If we go to e8, cannot be blocked, and the king doesn't have any moves, right? Yes. Still no point. Okay, this should be easy. +1. Alright. I'm happy for now. But let's check where can I see improvement areas. Oh, it's not here. Strength. Ah, it's overall under checkmate and not. Let me check. Ah, it's okay. It's in those categories. Okay, but I think the mate is one. The mate in one is yeah, works quite well. I mean, if you know it's mate in one, then that surely helps a lot. But in most situations, it's yeah. This one is definitely too easy, but maybe still a good practice. You know, keep those basics going and practice them. And here we have the, now I wanted to rush already, but we have to cover this one. Yeah, it has to be d3. All right, that's mate in one for you guys. I think there was one mistake. Yeah, there was one mistake in the whole thing. I think I am ready to jump to the next one. Stay tuned for more chess and follow me with my progress, and see you in the next video. Enjoy your day.